With the success of her bird spy spell fresh in her mind, Moria sat by her cauldron, flipping through her beginner's spell book. She had tasted the sweet feeling of control, and now she wanted more. Her fingers traced over the pages until she found her next target, a truth serum. If she could make Clever spill his deepest thoughts, maybe she could finally unravel the mystery behind his success. A brew that will make him tell the truth. Genius. Moria cackled. He won't be able to hide behind his charm anymore. Daniel Thorne, lounging nearby, flicked his tail and raised an eyebrow. And what do you plan to ask him? Why is he always winning these silly contests? Exactly, Moria grinned. I'll ask him his secret, how he keeps winning, and then, for once, I'll have the advantage. Why does winning mean so much to you? He asked because defeat never feels good. She answered, well, if losing was a contest, you would be the record holder. He sarcastically replied. She ignored him as usual and continued to clap her hands, sending a few sparks flying from the cauldron. To New-Brew-ginnings, she declared, pouring the ingredients into her bubbling pot. The truth serum was simple, like everything in her beginner's book, but Moria knew that its simplicity was its strength. She brewed the concoction with care, watching as the liquid swirled and shimmered in shades of pale green. Once finished, she bottled it up in a small vial and slipped it into her pocket. Now, all she needed was the perfect moment to make Clever drink it. But there was something else looming in the near future: the annual pumpkin carving contest. This year, Moria wasn't just going up against Clever. She had decided to enter into a friendly rivalry with Daniel Thorne, her ever-sarcastic and creative black cat. Daniel Thorne was always boasting about his artistic prowess, claiming that if he ever bothered to enter the contest again, he'd win paws down. Well, we'll see about that, Moria muttered, narrowing her eyes. This year, you'll carve a pumpkin, and we'll see just how good you really are. The marketplace was buzzing with excitement as the villagers gathered for the annual pumpkin carving contest. The event had grown over the years, with more participants and creative displays than ever before. Moria arrived with a glint of determination in her eyes, clutching her truth serum in one hand and a carving knife in the other. Clever, as always, was busy chatting with the villagers, his stall brimming with beautiful pumpkins. Medusa, his ever-critical wife, stood nearby, grumbling about how pointless the contest was. You spend all year preparing for this? She huffed, kicking at the ground. Why bother? But this year, Medusa wasn't entering the contest. She was just there to stand by Clever's side, as critical as ever. Moria set up her own station beside Daniel Thorne, who was already sizing up the competition. You think you can beat me? He asked with a lazy grin. I've got paws, but I've also got creativity. You're no match. We'll see, Moria replied, smirking. She had her eyes on the real prize, getting Clever to drink the truth serum. But first, she had a pumpkin to carve. The contest was in full swing, and pumpkins were being carved left and right. Moria carved her pumpkin with meticulous precision, trying to balance creativity with detail. Daniel Thorne, on the other hand, was using his claws to etch intricate designs into his pumpkin, muttering to himself about symmetry and aesthetics. Just as the contest was nearing its end, something unexpected happened. Medusa, bored and frustrated with the whole event, accidentally stepped on one of the pumpkins Clever had left by his stall. Her hoof crushed the top, hollowing out the insides in one swift motion. Oh no! She cried, looking down at the mess she had made. But instead of a disaster, the pumpkin had been perfectly hollowed out. With the use of her tail and a few swift cuts from a nearby knife, Medusa, without even meaning to, carve the pumpkin into a beautiful rustic masterpiece. The villagers gathered around, admiring the accidental creation. I wasn't even trying, Medusa whispers to herself, shaking her head. This is ridiculous. But to everyone's surprise, including Medusa's, the judges were in awe. They declared her the winner of the contest, calling her carving innovative and a breath of fresh air. Moria watched in disbelief as Medusa was handed the prize of the golden pumpkin trophy, while the villagers applauded. She had given it her best, but once again, someone else had stolen the spotlight. Medusa, like Daniel Thorne a few contests back, bragged how she planned the whole thing. And she says, maybe this contest isn't so bad after all. After all, I am the winner and it kind of feels good to win. She mooed basking in her glory, understanding now why the contest meant so much to Clever. She now understood why he worked so hard for the people, just to simply give them a good time. Now her attitude shifted a little more to his side of thinking. Fuming with frustration, Moria turned her attention to Clever. She hadn't forgotten about the truth serum, and now seemed like the perfect time to use it. As the crowd celebrated Medusa's victory, Moria approached Clever with a fake smile. "Congratulations on another successful contest," she said sweetly, offering him a cup of cider that she had laced with the serum. "You've done so much work. You must be thirsty. Let's toast to your continued success." Clever, always friendly, accepted the drink with a grateful smile and took a sip with his little beak. Moria waited, watching closely as the serum took effect. Within moments, Clever's eyes glazed over, and Moria leaned in, ready to hear his deepest secrets. "So, Clever," she asked slyly, "what's the secret to your success? How do you keep winning year after year?" Clever blinked, and for a moment, Moria thought her plan had worked. But then, instead of revealing some hidden trick, Clever smiled warmly. "I don't have any secrets," he said honestly. "I just love what I do. I care for my pumpkins, and I care for the people who buy them. That's all there is to it." Moria's heart sank. That wasn't the answer she had been expecting. There was no trick, no magic, no hidden advantage. Just a genuine love for his work and the villagers who supported him. "You've got to be kidding me," Moria muttered under her breath, backing away as Clever continued to talk about his passion for pumpkins and the joy he found in the simple things. Moria, defeated once again, trudged back to her stall as the day came to a close. Her carving hadn't won. Her truth serum had backfired, and even Medusa, who hadn't even wanted to enter, had walked away with a prize. She sat down with a heavy sigh, feeling the familiar weight of failure settle over her. Daniel Thorne padded over, smug as ever. "I told you I was good at carving," he said with a satisfied grin. "But hey, at least you didn't lose to Clever this time. Medusa got you instead." Moria glared at him. "You're not helping." "I'm just saying," Daniel Thorne purred. "You've literally tried every trick in the book, and yet now you have a whole new book of tricks to try, and you always end up losing. Maybe it's time to think about why." Moria huffed and crossed her arms. But deep down, she knew Daniel Thorne had a point. No matter how many spells she cast, how many tricks she tried, or how much magic she used, she couldn't change the simple fact that Clever's success came from something she couldn't fake: authenticity. She had a slight epiphany that maybe that's why her feud with her brother, the Harvest Lord, was always being won by him, because they resembled one another with charm and kindness. But bitterness is the way to go, and she motivated herself. "Trickery is key to being like me, and no one can do it better." "Not even you can do it," Daniel Thorne purred. As the sun set on the annual pumpkin carving contest, Moria couldn't help but wonder if her quest to beat Clever was doomed from the start. Maybe some things just couldn't be won with trickery. But even as that thought crossed her mind, a flicker of defiance sparked within her. She wasn't ready to give up just yet. "Next year," she muttered, her eyes narrowing. "Next year I'll figure it out, and I will win something for sure. You can bet on it." It may not be the end to her relentless pursuit, but it is the New-Brew-ginnings to unconventional strategies.